English tonight, unless you speak Icelandic. I'm usually called Grí when I travel abroad because nobody can say Guðmundur, but here you can. So I'm going to talk about the effects of startups in a small community. I think Føroyar Islands are quite similar to Iceland in size and mentality. I do like this country. About me, I started as a web designer, developer in '97, and I started my first company '98. That failed big time, but I learned a lot from that. I've set up few companies in my time, with 3 quite successful, still running today with large number of staff, and I think I learned more about the failure than the success. It's okay to make mistakes, but you have to learn from them and not make it again. Then you are in trouble. I've lived in 5 different countries and worked there. I've always taken my family with me. That's why I was voted best father in the world from 2002 to 2015. But I have to tell you, it's only my children voting, but I'm going to take it. I started Startup Iceland in 2012, which has escalated now and quite big in Iceland, and we have a lot of talks from foreign countries, like the States. I'm also known as the dude that did the Daily Mail and CNN in Iceland. That's every time you see something talked about me, it's always Daily Mail and the CNN. It's like being a footballer and score the winning goal in FA Cup, and everybody remembers that. I'm going to talk about Daily Mail. Daily Mail is, as I said, one of my success stories. And does anybody know Daily Mail in here? And Daily Mail was online news with, it was just like a trash, the paper. It had few viewers, not many people believed in it, and we were 3 friends brought in to make it as a success. We spent 1 year with them, and we went through we wanted to do completely different than everybody else was doing. So we worked, and people told us for 1 year that we were gonna fail. This is never gonna work. We want to have big pictures, a lot of headlines, long headlines, but everybody was going the opposite way. When we opened Daily Mail, it went from 17 million unique visitors per month up to 189 million unique visitors per month. This is in Britain, which only has 61 million people living there. So why I wanted to show you this is because I believe in Faroe Islands, online marketing it's more easy to get information about the Vatican than Faroe Islands online. Which I think it's quite strange, because you have a beautiful country, you have plenty of things to say. If you say it in the right time, so say the right information, you will get this. The word okay is I always find this word this is the most common used word in the world. And I think this word is quite bad. You won't get anywhere by using it. If you always say okay, nothing changes. And this is about the story in the Daily Mail, and I'm going to tell you about bókun, is we never used this word. We always used what if. That's something that I think entrepreneurs and innovators should be thinking. Always question themselves, some other things, and never say okay. Because okay is something that we just stop. There's a guy called Bill Cross, which had this talk. I saw this talk from him about the big 5 factors of success across more than 200 companies. And this is, we have Airbnb, we have YouTube in there, and all the companies. And this study showed me really much, and this relates to the Daily Mail and bókun, how he looks at things. Why do things work, and why do things fail? 42% of companies said the biggest factor was timing. And so the timing was right. So don't try to do something that has been done. You have to find the niche on the market and hit the market at the right time. Next is the team you have, because like with the Daily Mail, we were 3 friends. We always backed each other, and when people were just saying, of course, when you had a bad day, and you said, "Oh, this is never going to work," and the team just built you up, saying, "Stop being," I can't say this word. Cry baby, I was going to say, and that's. I completely agree with that. It's so important to have somebody that is wind beneath your wing instead of on top of your wings. And the third is idea. Of course, if you don't have a good idea, you don't have anything. But the idea doesn't have to, it can be really good, but if it's hitting the wrong time, the technology is not right, it's gonna fail. The other thing is business model. I've set up few companies, and the business model always changes. It stays pretty much the same, but you always change in the business model. You can't follow the business model because the market changes, you grow, and you have to be aware that you have to change it. And funding. Funding is sometimes good for companies, sometimes bad. Sometimes it's better to let the company grow itself and grow it with the fund that comes in. But the funding isn't important for startups. It's the timing, team, and idea. Now I'm going to talk about my favorite subject, which is bókun. I've just recently joined bókun. Bókun is a software that is transforming the travel industry in Iceland. And we have about 80% of the travel industry in bókun today, and that has changed the market to better, and the customer is more happy, the suppliers are more happy, and we have increased the startups in travel industry by dozens new companies, and we also, I'll show you later. Which is, and with bókun is also a quite nice way of just to selling. It's easy for non-technical person to go in there, put their trips in, and put it on the website with easy. access, and everybody's in there and they're cross-selling. Bókun is, it has, so a supplier goes in, puts all the information about the tour and availability, and everybody can start selling that tour online. So if I am a developer, I could build a system or website best in Iceland or best in Føroya, and then start selling all these products and taking commission. Why it works is we have most of the travel industry in Iceland is in this business. No, in the system. So we can get straight, or the customer can get availability straight away, what trips he can take on each day. I found it, we were through, me and Hjalti, we came here and we were trying to book something tomorrow because we had to spend one more day here because our flight goes on Monday, and we couldn't find a trip. And that's something that is bad for Faroe Islands. We have the money, we wanted to spend it. We wanted to go to the shark, fish a shark, and helicopter ride, but next time. Marketplace is pretty much what I'm saying. So if you would have every travel industry or supplier in here, then you could start cross-selling and making, so the helicopter ride and the shark fishing, you have to let it go then. It's not shark killing. And could make a combo for me that I can take on Sunday. So I could go at 9 o'clock with the helicopter to the place, catch my shark, put my photo on Facebook, come back, and I will be happy. And 2 operators would then get their money, and you would get a happy customer leaving Faroe Islands. And I would promote that trip by putting my photo on Facebook. So everybody wants to do it, because I think everybody wants to fish a shark. With the system, we also have, so if you go into the marketplace, as we were taught, I could then, as a seller, I could ask you to sell my trip for 15 or 20% commission-based, and the system have all the information about the commission. So if I accept the payments, I have to pay the reseller, or he has to pay me commission. So you would get everything in there, the system and the invoicing through that. Everything that we do is mobile friendly. So it's with the booking widget, you can just put it on your website, start selling straight away, and it adapts to your system. It's skinnable, and you can then start selling online with mobile or through browser. You don't have to have any technical knowledge to put in the widget, because the widgets are quite easy. Just take a HTML code, copy it in, and you start selling. What we offer in the system is we also, instead of just tours and activities, we have the transportation to the location, we have the transportation, we have the car rental. So we have the package from A to B, no A to A to C. You can monitor your business through the system, so you can always see what trips are selling the most, what trips are not selling. So you can always tailor your system and you get live data straight away. We went on a market 2013, and in a year, 80% of the companies has joined. So that's the success story is we did it in a small community. Everybody went on board. That's why it worked. So we think that would work really well here in a small community when everybody can talk to each other and start selling together online. They started without a salesperson because the happy customer is the best salesperson that you can have. And every success goes through that. How the system is so easy and easy to use and easy to implement. How are we different? I think with working on a small community like Iceland, we are directly in contact with all the sellers. They can call us up. So we have probably done a business for most of the tours you can offer. So we have tailored the system to fit everybody. And the system is also, you can have some extra features in there that will tailor everything that you need. And as I was saying, we have accommodation, events, vehicle rentals, transfer, and they're all bookable through this widget. And you can connect everything together through bundles. So I think for you to answer this question, this is, as I was saying with me and Hjalti, we could then, if we would have it best in Furry Island, we can say we're two persons, we want to do some exciting stuff, we're here, we're free on Sunday, give me all the tours you have, and we can just book it online, pay it then and there. And then somebody would pick us up on the hotel, and we would have a fantastic day. The system will allow you to do that. Bókun has been elected in a group of top 30 travel tech innovators in the world, which we are quite proud of. We also have granted 150,000 kronas, Icelandic kronas, no euros, which is not a lot. And from the Icelandic government, because they have seen that by doing something innovating like this, it has helped and it has built up the startup community and the travel industry a lot. So they are getting, I'll show you the numbers later, but by helping us, helping others. And we were voted Startup of the Year in Iceland at the Nordic Startup Awards. If we look at some numbers, is in the system you can tailor the numbers, and the numbers are so good that we want to show you. In 2014, we had 73% of all sales going through either telephone or booking desk, like you have today, that somebody goes to the hotel, he calls up, is it available, and also through the system. And we had 25% in online booking. A year later, it's nearly increased to 50-50. So everything is going online, but it's building up. So the online factor is taking over, and that's why we have been quite successful, like we have in the tourist industry in Iceland, that we are focusing on online, letting everybody know about our product, and they can book it online. You can also see the seller has increased, and suppliers. We had maybe 2 or 3 major sellers in the market in 2014. Now we have more, and more people are making money, and more people are selling the service on their own instead of going through others. We have had some spin-off of our product, which is a Tour Desk is a company that built. They take our system and they build a customized search for the hotels, so the hotels can start selling online through their brand. Another spin-off is a trip creator. So you put in the dates, what you want to do. It searches our inventory. So every trip is in our system. It searches our system through these dates and what he wants to do, and comes up with a list of suggestions, what they want. So the user can then select, I want to do this and this on this day, and he can buy everything through this site. So when he comes to Iceland, he doesn't have to worry about what to do, where to go. He has just the inventory there. The foreign visitors' arrivals in Iceland from 2010 to 2015 has been incredible. We had, in 2010, we had 488,000 visitors in Iceland, which is pretty much a little bit more than we have in Iceland. We have 320,000. I believe you have 40,000 visitors in Faroe Islands, which is not a lot, because you have a gold mine here to show the customers. You have a unique brand. This year it's predicted to be around 1.3 million visitors in Iceland. Iceland has a really good marketing stunt with Eyjafjallajökull exploding, so everybody was just watching us. But what we have also done, we have gone online, and we're always selling Iceland as a unique brand. We're friendly, which you can do also, because you have the same attributes than we have in Iceland. And Iceland, people are coming to Iceland, and they had problems finding activities. They had to go through tourist information center. You have to stand in a big queue. They have to call up, is it free, the tour? But in Iceland, that's why Bókun is really successful of course it's successful because the idea is really good, but the timing is right, and the team is right behind Bókun. And if we wouldn't have that, wouldn't have the increase. Because if you have tourists coming into the country, and it's difficult to buy there, and we wouldn't have the happy customers. So when we hit the market, and we got 80% of the market online, then it's the story I was telling you earlier, that the timing was right, the team was right, the idea was good. We did Icelandic government did a survey in Iceland for this summer. How did you find Iceland, or something about Iceland, or media coverage? 52% said internet. So they researched and they got the information about Iceland online. 20% said magazine, 15 newspapers, and 15 television. Radio, 1 elsewhere. No, I have not. I don't believe that. I don't think you go somewhere if you don't know anything about it. But you can see that you're probably doing same as the radio online. So if you increase that, learn from Iceland, and everybody uses the technology and the innovation that we used in Iceland, you can have this increase. Unless you don't want to get tourists, then So the conclusion is we talked about you using the word okay now, saying okay, it's like that. But if you ask the question on what if, and start saying, what did Iceland do? And I'm mentioning the Iceland because I think we're quite similar and we can learn from each other. And it's the same. You're just a bit smaller, but we're also a small company, no small country, and with a small community. That's why it worked for us. So you need to be asking the question, what if? And not only in the travel industry, also in technology. As I've been quite lucky traveling around the world, but that's because I come from a small community, and the small community gives you something, the ads, that if I go to, I was working in Germany, or Thailand, or England, you have so many people there that everybody focuses on one thing. In a small community, it's something I have to do, the database, I have to do the design, I have to do this and this and this. Not only for the web developer, for everything. So you have a person which is capable of running everything. And that's the niche for the market you have. And I think the innovator is, in Iceland we say hashtag mínskoðun. It's my opinion that that's the niche you should be looking at, and that's the niche that Bókun had, and I had, and what Iceland has. And also coming to that, it's just easier to start off when you know everybody, not everybody, but you know the community around you, and you can contact your customers. And so if you come with a new brand, like we did with Bókun, you can just talk to the community and say, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, and you can adapt. That's something that large companies, no countries, don't have. That's a privilege that you and us have. I'm gonna ask Hjalti to join me on stage, and we're gonna take some questions. So hopefully I have some questions. If we don't, I have an Icelandic beer called Viking, and everybody that asks us questions, I'm gonna give them a beer or her. And I don't want to drink all the beer myself. Thank you. Yeah, Hjalti Baldursson is the CEO of Bókun.
I have a very big voice, so if you have any questions for us, please feel free.
You can have I feel like Madonna with...
You don't look like
No, thank God.
Does it work now, maybe?
I think it's okay.
It's okay?
I have a very strong voice.
Okay.
Please, if you have any questions concerning Bókun, I am the CEO and founder of Bókun. Guðmundur is our new head of sales and marketing. It's been quite a journey for us at Bókun to have an idea, make a startup, and penetrate a market very fast. It's very exciting, and of course this doesn't happen very often, but as Guðmundur says, we were lucky with time, but we were also lucky that we were in a small community, like Faroe Islands, like Iceland. Bit simple. Maybe if you have some questions concerning this.
I think
please.
we had one.
No, I was just thinking about the beer.
If you ask me a question about the beer, you get the beer.
No, I was just thinking maybe not. I was just thinking while you were speaking. What about? I don't want to go straight to the details, but that would be a detail. What about availability? About reliability with these people that enlist on your webpage? If they don't turn up, they just kicked out or something like that. If the tour doesn't work.
Maybe I answer this. Maybe there's I mean, when you make a presentation like this, it's always a little bit difficult to get it through exactly what you're doing. So basically, we are not a web page. We're the system that the companies in the travel industry are using. So basically, we are their operating system, their sales and inventory system. Now, since everybody has their tours, let's say you're a whale watching company, or no, you're a shark fishing company.
Whale killing company.
Or whale, well, okay, shark fishing company, I'll use that. If you're a shark fishing company, you have tours, it's at 10, 12, and 2 o'clock, let's just say that.
Yeah.
You put in that availability, you have 10 seats available, and at all slots. This also means that other companies can sell your availability. So if they sell through their website, it works. If they sell 2 seats, then you only have 8 left. So basically, it's the inventory system that we are. We enable everybody to work together, and we even enable these companies they can cross-sell each other and collaborate. But a third party, I could come and say, okay, I am going to sell this whale fishing product, and I'm going to combine it with another product which we can have, for example, a boat trip, and I will sell it as my own, and I will just take the availability at 9 o'clock for the whale fishing or the shark fishing, and the other trip at 2 o'clock, and I will sell it as one product. So if a German tourist purchases something from my website and I'm just a reseller, then immediately the availability is decreased with both these companies. All invoices go automatically, all calculations are automatically, and what this means is that basically that you don't need the human hand. And I can take one example just to explain how the system works if it was not clear enough. We have a company in Iceland called Iceland Travel. This is the inbound or incoming tourism agency of Icelandair Group, which is the airline. They had 7 people working in just calling their suppliers, all of these tour operators, and checking the availability. Then they took a Bókun, and they didn't need anybody to check any availability. So if the German tourist, just as an example, booked something through the Icelandair webpage, then immediately the suppliers knew, because they are all using the same system. And the system keeps track of the commission that the Icelandair Group gets from the suppliers. So maybe I explained a little bit better now.
I think also, if somebody wants to know more in details about the system, you can talk to us after the show and book either a Skype or a meeting, and we can demonstrate the system in more depth.
But do you have a question?
Yeah, I was thinking about how you create revenue, trip creator uses your database, or the other way around, how do they create revenue?
The first question is always, what's your revenue model? This is a very good question. And since we're at the startup convention, I'm happy to go through the story behind it. I understand we're not here to speak about Bókun, we're here to speak about the startup society and how it works, right? We started off and said, okay, and we have a great product. Let's just take a commission from. Are you giving out beer? Okay, I'll reverse a little bit. We'll start off with taking out commission from everybody. We'll take 1% from all sales. We found out soon that there was no appetite for this. I mean, even though people liked the product, they just simply saw the price and said, okay, I don't like the price, stop thinking about it. The next step we did was we made a complicated price module. So if you're using this feature and this feature and this feature and this feature, you have to pay this. But if you add these features, you have to pay this. And if you add this feature, you have to pay this. It also didn't work, obviously. Afterwards, you can always say obviously. Then we changed our model to 3 packages. We had something like basic and professional and enterprise. So when a company looked at our web page and decided, okay, I want to go in, because we didn't have any salespeople. Our customers were simply selling the system for us. They could immediately calculate, okay, it only cost me $200 or $100. It makes sense. I'll send them. I'll subscribe online, and I'll get the access to the system. Now we found out that that worked, but still we are changing the price module even more today, and we are saying, okay, we're not going to have 3 packages. We're only going to have 1 package, and it doesn't matter if you're Icelandair or if you're a small whale watching company or something like that. You will pay $100 per user per month. And the way we looked at it is that, you know, we want to get the whole community in. So it needs to be inexpensive enough for everybody to join, and it needs to be, but we need to be able to charge the bigger companies a little bit more, so therefore we charge per user. Per user means basically if you have a login to the system, and some bigger companies need 50 logins to a system for some reason, then they pay 50 times 100. So we found out that in our marketing, everything needs to be super, super simple. And even though we feel we understand something, we always need to ask ourselves, what if they don't understand it? How is it going to, or how can we make it more understandable and simple? Because the consumers who are consuming through the internet, they make decisions in 3 seconds, more or less, or a very short time, at least. I hope that answered your question. Any more questions?
Now that you've got good market integration in Iceland, do you find yourself moving into new markets, or at least working with more foreign companies, as well as funding funds?
Yes.
And what's that? Is there a barrier to that?
There are always, well, first of all, since we're talking about the startup scene, Iceland is perfect for a product as a test product. So now we've penetrated the market. We have received feedback from all kinds of companies, and I mean, we have a few hundred clients. We are not making a lot of money, but it's enough to make our business run. But we can copy this to any other region in the world, more or less. We are now in the process of entering Norway. We probably will be, we're in negotiations there. I'm very hopeful that we will have good success there this year. We are in the process of entering Canada. We have hired a salesperson there. The Niagara Falls area is probably all going to take up Bókun. And if you look at the market, if you look at the Faroe Islands, it's 40,000 visitors. That's really small number. Iceland it's 1.3 million, which we feel is a big number. But if you look at Niagara Falls in Canada, what would you think? You know, would you think 2 million? No, 13 million. They're 10 times larger, and this is just on waterfall. You know, so this shows the opportunity we have, both Iceland and Faroe Island especially. I mean, the opportunity is screaming at you here because you basically have a lot of the same things as Iceland. I mean, 40,000 is it's simply not enough.
And on that note, if you would have all your activities and something to do here, you could cross-sell it with the Icelandic market. If we're getting all the tourists, is it quite easy to go to Faroe and take a 4-day trip here, do some activities?
Yeah, but to answer your question, it's easy to replicate it into new markets, but there are always some problems. For example, here you are using a payment provider called, what was it?
Tix.
Next. It means we need to integrate with them, and which doesn't take a long time, but we need to do
beer
it.
for safe.
And there are different kind of taxes you have here, so we need to adjust that into the system. But it's not big issues. Next question.
I have a problem. No, I have a solution for the whale situation. We created a company called See Them, Then Eat Them.
2 companies, maybe.
Yeah, the combined trip.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Next question.
Okay. Well, it's more like a kind of a business model question, but I'm kind of wondering, like, because I noticed that it said accept payment from multiple suppliers in one payment. So I'm wondering, okay, and also there's the commission aspect of it, where you have cross-selling and people earning commissions. I'm guessing that Bogan is administrating the commission payouts.
Yes.
So is it Bogan that's selling the tours?
No.
Because, like, the thing is that if you have a seller who's selling, but you're standing for the credit card payment, that would make you a super merchant.
We're not standing for the credit card. It's the seller that's standing for the credit card information. Everything happens on his website.
So
Again.
does that mean each supplier has to make their own credit card processor agreement?
Yes, like every company that is selling a product, they needs to accept payments.
Okay, so there's basically, yeah, but how do you do that with one transaction then? Because
Okay,
if
I'll-
you have
Magic.
No, I don't know, if you have 3 suppliers with each one of their own credit card processors, and then you're gonna have one transaction, how do you do that?
One is the seller. So you go to a website, he creates the combined trip or 2 trips, like See Them, Then Eat Them. 2 different companies. I'll go on the company that I will eat them, but I'll go first on the See Them. I'll buy it from him, and he gets a commission for selling him.
So he's basically selling someone else's product.
Yes.
So
But he
these
creates
other
his own
suppliers are
product.
actually his suppliers.
Yeah, he creates his own product with See Them, Then Eat Them. This is his product, but he's buying the extra service from the other supplier and gets 20% commission from him. So one transaction.
Okay, that's very clever.
Basically, it works like this. If you're a tourist from Germany, you purchase from a tour agent, and if you pay the money to him, then there's only one transaction. This tour agent will then owe money to the operators.
One more question about, okay, so basically what you're saying is that supplier is liable to pay out the commission.
Yes.
So you guys are not paying out commissions?
No, we never take money.
Okay, and then the next question would be, what about chargebacks? What do you do in a situation like that, where someone says to Visa or the bank, hey, I didn't buy that, someone just swiped stole my credit card, and then this guy has, gone out and done the tour, for example,
That's a problem you always have when you're selling products
Yeah.
that we are not gonna solve.
We are not selling any products except our back-end sales and inventory system. All sales go through our product, but we are not liable for any payments. We don't accept any payments.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you run a business and you accept a bad credit card, that's your problem, you know. Any more questions?
From the idea came to you until you were finishing the software that you started using and supplying the market with, how long was the time span?
Yeah.
How long was the development time before you entered the market?
We are still developing.
But before, from the idea until you came with the first version, 0.19.
0.1 version would be something, it was a year, probably something like that. We were very lucky. I mean, we got the largest bus company in Iceland to use us for their webpage. And they saw, okay, they are using the system, we are multiplying, they get hundreds of thousands of bookings now, which they didn't before. They started to speak about it. We got in more clients. It worked for everybody, so all the clients referred us and tried to get everybody into the system. This was the beauty of it, because everybody is, it's benefiting everybody in the system that more users are in the system, because this means that the staff doesn't need to make any phone calls or emails or have manual labor. But also the sales increased. So it was a win-win for everybody. Did I answer that?
Yes.
Is okay? I sometimes forget exactly what it was that I was going to say, so I'm sorry if I'm not clear. Any more questions?
Oh,
Sorry.
I have a question regarding the payment again. Why don't you administrate the payment? Would it come in as an extra source of income if you had administrated payment?
it's
And then you divided the money out legally? Remember?
That's a very good idea. It's a very good idea. We just thought, let's make it simple. Because everybody, this is, I mean, and this is something that other companies are doing actually. We simply decided to not to do it, and we thought it would complicate our sales process, but in the future we might offer this service. It's a very good idea. Please.
I don't need another beer, but,
you only get one.
okay, have you guys integrated PayPal?
Yes.
Okay, well then it's totally, North America is really, because that's quite easy to get set up with PayPal over there.
Yes. And the question?
Did we integrate?
Yeah,
it?
yes,
Well,
yes.
PayPal has this, I believe it's called PayFlow, I think, and where like incoming transaction can be split to other PayPal owners, like percent-wise. So if someone gets 20% commission, then 80% will go into the seller, and then 20% will be sent into the commissions account.
We're always integrating new payment system
Yeah.
on the system, but we're just taking the
No, I mean his point is correct. He was also asking that or answering the question of the gentleman over there that you can actually use other companies to split payments, but
yeah.
maybe we're getting into a little bit more detail than
Do you
our
accept,
audience would like.
do you accept cash?
What do you want to buy?
Don't give them
I
a beer.
already have a beer, so
So one more question?
One of the major advantages of startup hotspots like San Francisco, Berlin, Tel Aviv, all these places that are really cultivated environments is the concentration of talent. When you have a few great designers and a few great programmers sitting in San Francisco and the rest follow, and you see a huge concentration. Has that been a challenge for you guys doing a tech startup in Iceland, not being in San Francisco or Berlin?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Not for me.
No, I mean for us definitely.
How have you tackled that?
We started off, me and the CTO of the company, who is also who's the co-owner with me. He is a very technical, tech-savvy person. And we looked for a year and a half for somebody to help him when we were starting off. We simply didn't find anybody good enough. And then we just decided, okay, if we don't find anybody good enough, we're not going to hire him. We're not going to hire just because we want to hire. So we simply want to have the best people. We ended up with hiring 2 people from London, tech people, because it was simply very difficult for us to get tech people with experience in Iceland. And the way we saw it, it's cheaper, it's less expensive for us to hire expensive people than to hire many inexpensive people who are not good enough. So that's how we tackled it. I don't know if we would do the same today, and then we have increased the number of our staff in Iceland, but it's simply very difficult in a small community which has a limited amount of talent pool to get the best. You have to motivate them, you have to sell them a vision of what you're doing and things like this, and it's difficult.
Okay, no more questions from me about technical payment stuff, but I have another question about as you guys as entrepreneurs starting up this IT company. I'm asking you this because myself, I have actually it's really unique because I have a very similar business. I've been developing it for 3 years together with programmers, but we're not in the booking industry. We're just customer supplier network. Anyways, the question is I've been in the Faroe Islands this year, and I've been asking all the venture capitalists and big ship owners and whatnot, and I have been not able to get any financing whatsoever. Investors, how did you guys get your money to start to get this going? Because I mean, this is like the seed capital just to get that ball rolling is so crucially important. How did you guys get to do this? Is it a different environment in Iceland? Because the Faroe Islands, it's like, I mean, if I put a mackerel or a fish in my logo, then they'll shoot millions towards me. But like, if I'm just like an internet startup, it's like, no, we're just gonna pass and focus on our own ships and everything. So, how did you guys get started with finding investment capital?
Maybe first of all, I mean, we are not the typical case because our company is self-funded. We had the resources ourselves to start this off, but generally speaking, if you don't have the funds in Iceland, now in the last couple of years, there are at least 4 or 5 venture capital funds which are fully funded. They are funded by pension funds and private investors. So I don't think it's very difficult to get money in Iceland if you have the right idea. On top of that, we have a government fund, which is called the Technical Development Fund, from which we actually receive 150,000 euros, which we do not have to pay back. If you have the right, and probably 90% of all the grants that they are giving fail, but those 10% who do not fail probably pay it up for the government in the long term, or maybe, I don't know. I have no statistic about that, but anyways, this is how we do it in Iceland.
And it just changed in the last 4 years, though. It was more difficult to get funding for startups in Iceland, but we've just been patient.
You guys topped it out and financed it yourself.
This company, yeah.
Okay. As the last question, I'd like to know how many employees do you have in your company?
We are 8 at the moment.
8. Okay. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.